first is I can do longer videos now. Yay! So I just wanted to upload something a bit longer and see what the upload time would be like. Also, sorry if you hear any background noise that makes this unrelaxing. I apologise, it's the middle of the day, but I'm really struggling to get time to record whispers. The second part of this, the reason I'm doing this is it was a request, and I also want to practice doing this type of whisper, which is like voice with a photo display, you know, like a slideshow of photos. I've never did it before and I want to see if it works so that I can do it for my next video, or one of my next videos, which I'm very excited about, and it's part of a series of requests, so I hope this one works. I was also asked to do a crochet tutorial. I don't know if anyone is still interested in that or if I'd be any good at it, but I will try to attempt that at some point as well, a whisper crochet tutorial. And the third part of the threefold reason that I'm doing this whisper is I want you to draw your guys' attention to a new-ish whisperer, and her name's Whisperreader, and I'll put a link to her channel in the information box, and I promised her I would give her a shout out in my next video. Not that crocheting has anything to do with her, but whilst I remember, I should mention her. Her voice is so relaxing and she's so lovely, but she doesn't have anywhere near enough subscribers, sorry, and she has such a lovely, lovely voice, so please go and check her out, you wonderful, lovely people, and subscribe to her, because I'm sure you will love her. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about, I did a video about of me crocheting that was quite popular, and I had a few requests from the back of that, and so I thought I would explain why I chose to crochet, which is maybe seen as a bit strange for a 20-something, sort of seen as a thing that we grannies do, and it kind of is, but it's getting killer, honest. I'm making it killer, single-handedly, bringing it back into fashion. Yay! No, I'm joking. But anyway, well, as some of you might know and some of you don't, my mum passed away over a year ago now, which is crazy to even think about it. But before she passed away, she got really sick, and she had lung cancer. And when she got sick, I moved back to my hometown to care for her. I was her carer. And in the afternoon, she was always tired, especially when she'd had her chemo or her radiotherapy. And I needed something to do that was quiet, but that was productive, because it was really hard, obviously, being there and watching her suffer so much. And my aunt, my mum's sister, had always crocheted, and I had always wanted to learn how to do it. But she had passed away a few years before, unfortunately, and I'd never had the chance to learn how to. And she was the only one I knew. And then, as luck would have it, there was a magazine that was released that was going to teach you how to crochet. It was released in the UK, but I missed the first copy, and I couldn't. My news agent wasn't able to back copy it for some reason. So I thought, I wonder if YouTube will teach me. So I went on to YouTube, and lo and behold, there was tons and tons of videos. So I had a look at it, and I thought I could do that. So I went on to eBay can do something, I can do it straight away. If not, I'm not going to be any good at it. I either pick it up straight away, or I can have patience and learn it, but it'll never be something that I'm good at. I can become average at it, but anyway, so after I'd been making a bunch of these little granny squares, one of the tutorials said that you can just keep going and make a granny square continuous blanket. So instead of stopping it when it's like a little square, you just keep going round and round and round in a circle, and eventually you will get a blanket. So I thought, okay, well, I can do this, so why not give it a go? So I went and bought a bunch of purple wool. I think I bought 9 balls of wool, and this is what happened. This is the finished result. Now this is it folded into 4. It was huge by the time I finished it, and this crochet blanket I adore. I will keep this for life. I don't care if it falls apart. It's so precious to me for various reasons. The first is that the fact that I could crochet made my mum really happy. It reminded her of her sister, and every time I picked up my crochet hook, she just would get this smile on her face, and it just soothed her so much watching me do it and watching the blanket grow. And it also soothed me and helped take my mind off things as well, because it was tough a lot of the time. I'm not saying this for sympathy, but watching your mum fade away really and suffer the way that she did, it was good to have something creative to channel that pain into, if that makes any sense. The other bonus was that it started my mum knitting again, which gave her something to take her mind off the pain she was in. And then when my sister came to visit, she had started to knit again as well. And then my niece appeared one day, and so we taught my niece to knit. And then we had this little social knitting circle that we all, would sit and knit, and I would crochet, and we would all laugh and joke, and it was a fun time. It was a time where we didn't have to talk about cancer or chemo or pretend that everything was okay, or it was just nice. This is it laid out. It covers a whole double bed. It's giant, and I know that it's got holes in it, but it's actually really warm because the holes trap heat, so it's really cozy as a blanket as well. And it was nice because every time the nurses came in, the district nurse came in to see my mum, or my dad as a carer. My dad had had a stroke by this point, and he had a carer who came in to check on him at nights and put him to bed. Or any time the Macmillan nurse, although she didn't come very often, or the doctor or any of her family came to visit, they would always ask me how I was getting on with this blanket, and it was like I had a little cheering squad. So when it was finally finished, everybody was really impressed, and nobody could believe that I had only started crocheting like 6 weeks before. So yeah, that was my giant purple blanket, and my mum, as soon as it was finished, she was like, yoink, that's mine. And then I had it on her. She made sure it was on her bed, and the only time it wasn't on her bed when it was being washed to get put back on her bed. She loved it, so it was nice. I love that blanket. It reminds me of my mum. So after that, I decided that as it was going to be my niece's 3rd birthday soon, and I was curious to make a sort of patchwork blanket of granny squares, and this is what I ended up making for her. At this point, I had bought loads of mini multicolored balls of wool from eBay, so I bought a couple of large balls of darker pink, and then I made up loads of different coloured little pink and purple squares, and edged them all in the darker pink and sewed them together. The sewing together part took ages, Crochet Guru's what he called a star can, and it could be used as a tree skirt for your Christmas tree, a baby's blanket, a tablecloth, whatever. And I just loved that it was a star, so I made it up with 2 different colours of purple wool, and I think it turned out really well. I didn't make it too big because what I planned to do is make another side exactly the same and stuff it and use it as a cushion, although I haven't got around to doing that yet. While I was doing this, I got the idea that I could maybe scale it down and use the same pattern but with the crochet cotton. So I did, and I made earrings, and here they are. I gave them to my niece for her birthday, and I think that they look like snowflakes. I don't know if you can see it in this picture, but the cotton that I used had little flecks of silver through it, and so I think they look like snowflakes. They're so pretty. I was so chuffed with myself because I had adapted a pattern and it had turned out well, and considering that I'd only learned to crochet about a year before, the fact that I was adapting patterns, I thought I was impressed with myself anyway. At this point I was sick of making blankets, so my flatmate at the time asked me to make him a hat, and I made him this slouchy beanie hat, and this halfway through, and he's got long hair, so it's meant to sit sort of slouchy at the back, and this is him wearing it. It turned out really well, and he still has it, so I was quite impressed with myself, and the fact that the hat turned out so well and was so quick to make. As it was my niece's birthday in a week, I decided to make her a beret, and it was coming up for winter, and I wanted it to be really thick. So what I did was I got black wool and purple wool, 2 balls, and I wound the strand together and crocheted with the double strand. And she loved it. She absolutely adored it. It turned out so well, and she, like me, has a thing for hats, so she wore it for the whole winter, and it stood up really well, and she's still got it. She actually told me the other week that she can't wait for winter so that she can wear her hat again, which is actually really nice. I was really impressed by myself once again. Then I made them. Sorry, I sound like such a big head. I'm so impressed with myself. But I always, every time I attempt something new, I think I won't be able to do this, and then it turns out better than I could have hoped. So that's what I mean by impressed with myself. Then I made the mistake of asking my sister what she wanted for her birthday, and she demanded a blanket, and I was like, oh no, I really didn't want to make another one. So I looked around for patterns, and I found a really funky one, but it was too close to her birthday. I wouldn't have had time to make it, and I had already started this one, and the wool that I was using was gorgeous. It's so soft, and purple is our favourite colour as well, and the colour of wool, the lilac colour, was actually the identical colour as our bedroom. So I continued on and finished the blanket, and then in this picture, I don't know how well you can see it, but it has a really fancy edging that I put on that I learned from one of the YouTube gurus, and it turned out really well. And again, she uses it nearly every day. It's really cozy. The thing about crochet blankets is that because they have holes in them, they're cool for the summer, but in the winter the holes trap heat and keep you warm, so they're actually quite handy. And I think that that's all the photos of things that I have made so far that I can show you. I also started a blanket that I show you in one of my precious things